Let me tell you, I never thought a simple flight could blow up into something that'd have people arguing in the comment section for weeks. But you know what they say, never underestimate the power of 5 little words. These seats aren't for you. That's how it started. Right there in the fluorescent-lit hush of a business class cabin, with a flight attendant's voice slicing through the usual clatter and small talk, aimed straight at 2 kids who looked too young, too well, not quite what some folks expect in a seat with extra legroom. You know how these stories go. The moment's almost cinematic. The twins' short hair, matching jeans, superhero t-shirts, dude frozen, wide-eyed, in that narrow aisle, caught off guard like deer in headlights. Most passengers barely glanced up, already buried in their own routines, but the ones who did looked uncomfortable, like they just witnessed something they shouldn't talk about at brunch. Then, from the back of the crowd, this tall guy in a suede reel owns the room, type steps forward, cuts through the tension like it's nothing, kneels down, and pulls those kids into a bear hug. "How are my girls doing?" he says, and just like that, the whole mood in the cabin changes. The flight attendant Meredith, her name tag reads this, standing there, face going pale. The air goes heavy. That's when the kicker drops. The guy's Richard Evans, CEO of the whole damn airline, and those are his daughters. Now, let me back up a sec, because this story isn't just about one awkward moment on a plane. It's about the people who got there, the invisible weights they carried, and the ways our smallest assumptions echo far louder than we realize. See, Meredith Palmer's been flying longer than most of her passengers have been alive. She's been a flight attendant for 23 years of jet lag, hotel beds, learning how to smile through turbulence, both literal and metaphorical. She wakes up in a cramped San Francisco apartment at 4:30 a.m., puts on the same navy blue uniform she's worn since the days when flying still felt glamorous, still felt like a ticket to something better. She survived layoffs, salary freezes, the end of her marriage, all to put her daughter through college. But lately, everything feels tight: the money, the prospects, even the patience. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Richard Evans is wide awake in his high-rise, scrolling through quarterly reports before sunrise. Youngest CEO in Meridian's history, married to a woman as brilliant as he is, Amara, a diversity consultant who's probably rewritten more corporate policies than most execs have read. Their 8-year-old twins, Emma and Olivia, are already obsessed with planes and comic books, chattering about turbulence like it's a roller coaster instead of something to fear. For this trip to New York, they get their own seats together in business class across the aisle from their parents, a little taste of independence. Now, the thing about flying is it's a pressure cooker for all the little dramas of modern life: class, race, the endless balancing act between being professional and being human. Meredith's barely holding it together as she checks the manifest. 2 unaccompanied minors in business. Odd, she thinks. She expects boys, but the twins look, well, ambiguous: short hair, jeans, confidence. She says what she said 100 times before, but this time it lands differently. "I'm sorry, but these seats aren't for you." The problem is, those words don't exist in a vacuum. And what follows is a masterclass in how quickly things can spiral when the world's watching, especially in a world where every passenger's got a phone ready to go viral at a moment's notice. You'd think that would be the twist, right? But the real twist comes later, when the family's back from New York. After a picture-perfect trip, museums, Broadway, grandparents who spoil the twins silly, they board the same plane back with the same crew. Meredith recognizes the girls, offers a warmer smile, maybe thinking she's made up for that awkward first encounter. But then, just as the plane is preparing to depart for its next flight, this time to Chicago, a different family shows up. 2 moms, 2 kids, business class tickets in hand. Meredith sees the children, short hair, jeans, matching nervousness, and without thinking, tells them again, "These seats aren't for you." This time, though, the scene erupts. They're shouting, their phones recording. There's a crowd. And as fate would have it, Richard Evans, the CEO himself, is still in the terminal, close enough to see it all unfold. He doesn't rush in with an angry speech. He doesn't go full, "Do you know who I am?" He listens. He lets the facts come out. Yes, the children's parents bought the tickets. Yes, there was a mistake on the manifest. But Bottom line, an assumption was Medea's snap judgment about who belonged in those seats, based on looks, based on something subconscious and ugly. Here's where the story flips again. Instead of throwing Meredith under the bus, Richard takes a breath and addresses everyone, crowd and cameras included. He explains, calmly but firmly, that intent and impact are two very different things. We all have blind spots, he says, but as a company, we have to be better. We have to make sure our assumptions don't hurt people, especially kids, especially families who already feel like outsiders. He apologizes to the family, not just with words, but with action. Free upgrades, a promise to overhaul training, an invitation for the moms to help improve company policy. And to Meredith, he offers not just a reprimand, but a chance for redemption or role in the very change she accidentally triggered. You can feel the tension draining from the air. The crowd, once ready to explode, shifts, maybe a little skeptical, maybe a little hopeful. Now, before you start typing your hot take in the comments, let me ask you, where do you draw the line between a mistake and a pattern? Between honest error and something more systemic? Because the truth is, nobody walked away from that gate unchanged. Meredith, after 23 years, had to confront the ways routine can breed complacency, how even good intentions can go sideways if we're not vigilant. Richard, for all his talk of diversity and inclusion, had to face his own company's blind spots on his watch, on his plane, to families just like his own. And the twins? They got a crash course in how complicated the world can be and how sometimes it's not enough just to mind your manners and stay in your lane. Sometimes you have to speak up. Sometimes you have to listen. Sometimes you just have to be present and let people know they belong, even when everything seems to say otherwise. So yeah, all this from 5 words. That's the power of a story lived in public. Maybe next time you're crammed in row 27, watching the chaos unfold at the front of the plane, you'll remember this. Maybe you'll give someone the benefit of the doubt. Or maybe you'll say something when you see a line being crossed. Either way, don't let the conversation end here. If this hit home or pissed you off, tell us why. Who was right? Who was wrong? Is there ever a good reason for judgment at 35,000 feet or anywhere else? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your story, and let's figure out together how we make space for everyone, not just the ones who look the part. And hey, next time you hear, these seats aren't for you, maybe you'll be the one to prove them wrong.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình, là mình lên mạng xã hội.
It is cold, yeah. Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
After the tree to hold on to.
Yeah, they're use the fence.